call. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start it, and we'll see what happens. If anyone wants to join later on in the call, then they can join later on in the call. But for the time being, I'm just gonna start off with the way we are at right now. So let me just make sure of a couple things before I start, and then I'll be back. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the call. In today's call, we're basically be breaking down GU, gold, how we're watching gold still, see what's happening, see if any of the predictions that we made on the previous call ended up playing out. So it's going to be going through all of that stuff, seeing what's good, delete everything off the chart for the time being, and then see how we can potentially enter new trades and how we can potentially enter CAD JPY. Because I remember a lot of you are watching CAD JPY. I wanted to potentially enter it to take it lower. So I'm just going to be going through that as well, seeing how if there's any potential entries and so on and so forth. Basically, just a quick analysis for CAD JPY. CAD JPY came into a daily POY. As you look left, you'll notice that there was a very clear daily area of supply right here. If I show you, the market then came into our daily area of supply, and you can see that it is beginning to drop off. You can see that we had that little remnants of a 4-hour whack of distribution schematic happening. So you could argue that this was a little bit of a bias climax or secondary test somewhere on the low time frames. And 1 second, boys. Let me just unmute mute on Discord because I'm unmuted on something else. So okay, I'm back now. But as I was saying, we can see the first remnants of a little whack of distribution schematic going on. We can see that the market has formed a bias climax, our secondary test, and is now forming our UT or our upthrust after distribution. We don't know that yet. And now we're expecting the market to break structure all the way down and come take out these lows down here, right? Once that happens, we then know that this is a valid whack off and we can get re-entries. But we are expecting there to be a mini whack off at the top of that UT to take the market lower from that UT all the way down into areas here. So we're entering positions here with us take profits down here, expecting it to drop off nicely. So what we're looking at is we're looking at a 4-hour distribution coming into a daily POI, and then we're looking at a 5-minute distribution coming into a what do you call it daily POI also, but coming into a UTAD that has been made by the distribution coming into that daily POI. Right. So this is how we were looking at this market. This is how you could have marked out. You could have said that this was something like your bias climax, your secondary test accumulating liquidity, something like your UT. Then you have your UTAD taking out liquidity. The market is just now breaking structure. So now would have been potential very nice places to re-enter the market here and here, to enter the market, take it short, right, and ride that wave all the way down. So I'd say enter this. This looks very nice with your stop losses just placed above here. I'd give it a bit of breathing room. Just in case perhaps we have the market come up any higher, because it could very easily do something like this. So I'd say, in fact, don't enter your positions now. This is what I'd wait to see to happen, right? I'd say wait for it to see if it wants to go any higher into something like this, an OB here, right? Because there is an OB there. If I show you and I zoom in for you, you'll notice that we have a little bit of indecision, and then we have an OB. So you could say that the market might want to come into an OB up here and then sell off, or maybe an OB here, here, or even up here. We don't know yet. However, the whack of distribution in terms of a 5-minute whack of distribution is very, very valid, because we can see we have that UTAD form, and then the market breaks structure and take out these lows here, validifying that UTAD, right? Even nearly took out these lows, right? So we have a bit of equal lows at this level here that the market needs to come take out. So I'm expecting perhaps the market to come into a level like here and drop off all the way down nicely and give us a nice move to the downside. That's what we're expecting to happen. Does that make sense to everyone? I have 2 questions coming in. What is your thoughts on GU? Emily says, I sent you a markup on Snapchat. Please, when you have the time, please can you look at it and give me some feedback? In fact, let me do that right now. I'm just pulling up Snap. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. But you sent out EG and you said Euro GBP, and you said that the daily. Okay, what I'll do is I'll take this. I'll send it onto share. I'll share it onto Discord. Just give me a second. Discord. So then I'm able to open it on, open it on, just give me a second, boys. So, okay, I've just sent it into Trade Talk. So let me just go on to Trade Talk. If I can find it. Give me a second. I just want to get the breakdown for Emily's trade on Euro GBP just done now for the time being. So just give me a second to get that up and running. I could just do this. So let's just go onto here, right? New share, and then I could go on to something like this. I will close out all of these tabs. And then once I do that, I'm going to get up a chart, a screenshot. So what we're doing now is we're getting Emily's chart up. So give me a second. So just give me a second, boys. So you had O H E B R R. So this is Emily's chart. Here we go. Let's just break this down for her and see if there's any trades that we could potentially be taking here. So monthly is there's a bullish engulfing candle on the monthly time frame. The 1 day, the daily time frame, there looks to be a break of structure to the upside, which has been left unmitigated, which is left in unmitigated demand zone. Let's just do that right now. I'll go into Euro GBP, see what Emily is talking about. So if you go onto the monthly time frame, she says that there is a engulfing candle, and if we look, you can see that the market has formed a very clear engulfing candle and has pushed to the upside, right? Then the second thing you talked about was on the daily time frame, there is a break of structure to the upside, right? The market has broken structure to the upside. You could argue that it broke through these micro levels of structure here and went to the upside, right? So those are the levels that I assume you're talking about when you say break of structure, right? Um, so that's what we have so far. Let me just uh, uh so she was talking about those micro levels of structure that the market broke through. The market seems to now be retracing nicely. What I'd say is going to happen is that there is a potential order block here that the market could come to take that we could then use to take the market higher. It also looks to me that there is a little bit of Wyckoff action going on here. You could call this something like your seller's climax secondary test, your spring. The market now breaks structure from that spring, um, and then now is retracing nicely. We have something like our move down, our sign of strength, and then we're expecting the market to come back to a last point of demand and then go higher. So this does look nice. This looks nice. I can't lie. This does look very, very nice. And we know that there is a lot of resting liquidity above here. So yeah, that looks good. We know that there's resting liquidity above here is what she's talking about, by the way. So there's a level of structure there. We know that there's going to be a lot of liquidity at that level of structure that the market is going to be attracting to come and take out. All right, so this does look good. I can't lie, this does look very, very nice. However, we are on the daily time frame, so any trades like this aren't going to actuate like any time now. All right, so this is what I'd say. It does look very nice. Emily says it created a supply zone I think it could possibly go to before reaching my daily POI, but I don't know. Let's see. So you said could possibly liquidate the highs, then sell into the demand zone before probably going up. So this is what she's saying. She's saying that the market could liquidate these equal highs, drop off nicely into our demand zone, and then go higher. Right? Let's see if we can get any potential entries to take the market lower from that zone. What you could have entered from is probably let me take a look. So what we have is a bit of a consolidation. Market expanding. We have the market expand to the downside, retrace back up, come into some sort of OB level. You could argue in this zone, right, and then sell off some more. For now, I'd say don't enter just because it's just broken structure and trades after breaks of structures do get liquidated and stop hunted. So I'd wait for a nice retracement, maybe something like the Fibonacci level before you enter. For me, I'm not going to be entering just because um I why would I not enter this? This does look nice, so I should probably be entering, but it's just there is another area of structure on the daily here that the market could be attracting, that the market could go to. So that's another thing. So I'd be reacting for the time being. To sell off maybe looks nice. To get supply zones to take the market lower, that does look nice. I'll give you that. But in terms of demand zones, I'd just be waiting and reacting because there are two potential areas that the market could go to. And plus, there's an area of imbalance up in here. So if I show you, there's an area of imbalance from here to here, right? That the market could go to. Right, so that's what I'd be expecting the market to come take out before it does any sort of mad movements. So I'd say wait for it, react and not predict as we do always, and then go and get your re-entry. So you say that the supply zone was on the 1 hour time frame. Let's take a look. Uh, it looks to me that any supply zones have already been looked after. So it looks to me that there was a potential supply zone in this zone here up here, and then maybe another one here. The market barely tapped into it and then dropped off nicely. So I'd say any entries are a bit late. But if you want to get re-entries maybe from a fib level or something like that, maybe that would be valid. But for the time being, I'd also just be watching. So that's what I'd say for Euro GBP. But if we go back to GU, someone asked about GBP USD. I hope that was helpful, Emily. Basically, if I go to the Discord, right, and I go to the watch list for the week, I called that GU was going to come into an area of structure here, a little area of indecision and order block, and then sell off nicely to take out equal lows. What ended up happening is the market went straight through that, went a bit higher into a higher OB up here that I just didn't notice, and then began selling off. I am actually in on GU on my FTMO account that I'm doing for someone. I'm up like £30, nothing crazy, but that's an entry. I got an entry here and I took it lower. I just didn't want to call it since it wasn't a valid OB. If I show you, if we look at something like the 5 minute or 30 minute, you'll see that this OB, this spit of buying before that selling wasn't very clear, so I didn't want to call it out since it was a very risky call that I only wanted to take for myself. So that was the reason why I didn't call it out. But that was a valid OB that was an OB that I entered from, that is now running with some nice profits. So yeah, that's that. GU, I'm still bearish on. I'm still 100% bearish on because there's an imbalance here that the market needs to come take out. Equal lows here, and then also a 4-hour POI that I could go to. The screen is stuck. Can you guys see my screen now? I've just been hit with like a barrage of messages. I wasn't seeing. Can you guys see my screen now? I'll stop sharing and I'll reshare. Just maybe that'll fix it. Reshare. How about now? No. Okay. Finally. Okay. Okay, yeah, I was sharing the wrong screen by accident. But basically, I was saying for GU, the market came into an OB that wasn't valid and sold off. I entered my own because I trade on my own because I was willing to take that risk despite it not being valid because we had so much other confluence. However, I didn't send that out because of that reason, just because it wasn't valid. I didn't want to get you guys getting used to taking trades that are not valid. So that's the reason for that. But I'd say GU, I'm still bearish on. I'm still bearish on it because we have imbalances that need to be looked after there. There is also a little bit of equal lows that need to be taken out. Also, I'd say there's equal lows on something like a 4-hour time frame, and there's a 4-hour demand zone. So all of that is saying GU is going to the floor, right? So that's why I am still holding that, and hopefully going to get even re-entries later on to take the market low for GPUSD. But that's my call, and that's what I expect is going to happen for GU, and that's what how I'm potentially going to be entering GU, right? GU, I'm bearish on. If I show you why was it not valid, I'll show you why it wasn't valid. If you go into something like the 30-minute, you can see that this was not. It wasn't in terms of like a. Or if you go into like the 4-hour, you can see that there wasn't an engulfing candle. You guys see that there was a buying candle. However, our next candle wasn't an engulfing candle, but I entered anyway just because there was indecision in that zone and just because there was so much other confluence, right? So I was willing to take that risk, but I didn't want to send it into the group chat and let everyone else take that risk, right? So this was my entry. I'm still running in profit. A couple, I think it's 60 or 70 pips now, nearly 80 pips at one point. Now we're only running 40 pips, but I'm holding this nicely. I'm gonna try take out these equal lows, come to our imbalance here, and then come take out our equal low. So my final profit targets are all the way down here. Stop losses are going to be going to break even once it takes out these equal lows. and then hopefully we'll just ride that wave all the way to the to the downside. Emily asks, can you explain your consolidation order blocks? Of course I can. But let me read this other question. Anshu asks, when you analyze the charts, do you start with the current price action? Look how far back, like how far back do you go? I do like in terms of a time frame analysis. So I start on the daily all the time. Start on the daily. So in this case, there was a market reacted to a weekly supply zone, ended up selling off nicely. So that's our higher time frame bias. Then I noticed that there were equal highs and equal lows on the daily that are both very clear. The market has come into some sort of consolidation here. We're expecting the market to break out to the downside because we have these equal lows and a 4-hour POI. So what I do is I do a time frame analysis. I start on the higher time frames, then I move down. Then let's move back to Emily's question. Emily's question was, if I go back to something like the 1 hour time frame, Emily's question was, why do consolidation order blocks work and what are they? Right? What are consolidation order blocks are basically where smart money is starting to accumulate orders. So what we'll have is if smart money wants to open a position in this area here, normally they can't just open their position and the market drop. What they'll do is they will consolidate the market in that zone, maybe form some sort of support and resistance, take out resistance, getting liquidity to open sales, right? Do that again and again. So they'll do that again and again. And then once they do that, um, guys, I just lagged out for a bit, but I'm back. But as I was saying, what consolidation order blocks are areas within an area, right? That smart money is looking to open positions where they'll consolidate the market and open smaller positions. So what they'll do is say they want a 50 million pound position overall in this area, they'll open 10 million pound sales here, 10 million pound sales here, 10 million pound sales here, 10 million pound sales here. In that, when they do that, they are able to find liquidity for their move without crashing the market. So that's what we expect to happen. And that is very, very common. If you type in order blocks, that's literally the first thing that comes up on Google. So if you write in order blocks, right, and you go to this link right here, I think it is, that I've posted in the content section before, right, of our channel, of our group, you will notice that, look, here we go, tighter in consolidation order block. This is exactly what I mean. This is exactly what I'm talking about, right? So what the guy is talking about is breaking up their position, let's say into 20 million pound chunks, exactly what I was talking about, right? Instead of opening a massive 100 million pound sell here, they'll do it in 20 million pounds. So they'll do is consolidate the market in that zone, right? Consolidate, right? Maybe form some sort of support and resistance, some sort of retail wedge pattern or whatever to instigate retail buying, break out of that wedge, sell off everyone. Then come into an area of consolidation, right? Come higher, break lower again, right? So they've opened sales here and sales here, right? Say they've had their 50 million pound here and 50 million pound there. They're not happy with the market. They don't need to enter any more positions. Um, um, and therefore they're happy to let the market start dropping. Right, so that's what we expect to happen, and that's what we uh, uh, um, that's how we want to be getting entries and taking the market lower. And that's how we want to be seeing. Well, that's what we want to be seeing when there is a tire consolidation. Um, so yeah, that's how we want to trade them. Give me a second. Okay, so I was just getting rid of someone. Someone was talking to me on my phone. But as you can see, yeah, that's how they work. That's how tyrant consolidations work, and that's the only reason why I took this trade. And that's why I took it despite it not being a valid order block, and it ended up paying out very nicely. But I am still bearish on GU and I am bearish on GJ. If I show you GP you can see that GP just came into a demand zone. I mean supply zone up here, right? We are now expecting GP to sell off nicely, to maybe retrace a bit and then continue selling off. Buying up. So what I'm expecting for GJ is I'm expecting something like this to happen. for it to retrace a bit and then continue going higher, because the levels that it is at right now are just too high. It needs to retrace a little bit because there are imbalances and stuff that need to be taken care of. All the blocks that are here, all the blocks here, all the blocks all over the place that need to come get taken care of. So I'm not going to be opening any positions on GJ. Gold has been really taking the piss recently, because what it's done is it's formed equal highs again. It's just taken out those equal highs. If I show you, so you could argue that there was a bare equal highs in this zone. Took out those equal highs. Smart money got their liquidity to open their positions. Market dropped, right? So what it did is it stopped us out for the OB here, right? And I did actually get stopped out and take this trade. It was a 1R loss. Went higher, came into our area of liquidity above here that I probably should have noticed, and then it dropped off nicely. So we should have been watching this area of equal highs to see if the market would have done something like this, because this is exactly what we look for. This is textbook stop hunting. This is what smart money does to retail traders, and that's why we trade smart money. Actaman asks, first, thanks for teaching us. No problem. When price is in a trend, how do you know from which OB the price will react? If the answer is we react and not predict, this means you want a Wyckoff on lower time frames. Okay, this is what we do. So Actaman is asking, say we're in a trending market and there are multiple OBs. So let's do something like this. There's an OB there and an OB there, and then the market retraces. Oh no, let's do something like this, right? And the market is starting to retrace. How do we know that the market is going to react to either this one or this one, right? Normally what you can do is, normally I just say react and not predict, but now I'm going to give you a concrete answer. What you can do is you can join the fib for that impulse, and a lot of the time you will notice that the market inside that zone, that 618 and 0.5 zone, is where the market is most likely going to come into and then continue going to the upside from. So if there's an order blocker there, then we can enter any positions. But for the time being, we can't do anything. That's what I do. I react and not predict. So I see the market forming some sort of accumulation or not, and then you enter your position. So that's how we want to enter in a trending market. But I say always react and not predict. That advice is still valid. But I'd say if there's a fib level there, then you can definitely go ahead and maybe use that as an extra confluence for that order block rather than another order block, if that makes sense. So if there's a fib level in this for this order block and there isn't one here, then perhaps this one is the one you want to be looking at and not the other one. Mohammed Omar, Canada, you've asked to unmute. Let me just give you permission to unmute. Give me a second. So you can now unmute. If you want to answer any questions, you can go ahead and do that. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Thanks for. I have a quick question. My question is outside of the question. So for the setup for the fib, so could you show us how do you set up? Because this is a regular one, or just you set it up by yourself?
Okay, yeah. It's a custom one for smart money. So what you do is normally it will be like this, just a normal fib, right? I think it will even have certain colors. I just made everything black. But normally it will have like a certain colors and stuff, and it'll have loads of other levels. So it might have something like this. I think it's normally like this. I completely forgot because I haven't had the normal version for so long. But I think it has like levels like this, and this, stuff like that. The colors for those are not on. So let me just make it black, and black. So just give me a second. So this is what a normal fib will look like. Right, these are the levels that it will show. Right, it will show the 1.681. All of these levels are not necessary. Right, what I use is, so what these levels are used for, say for example there's an impulse to the downside, what these levels are used for by retail traders is the market will trace to 0.5 and then go to the 1.68. So that's how they get their entries and exits in the market. But we don't use that. What we do is we delete all of the levels except for the so we delete the 2.681, delete the 3.681 and the 1.68618, right? And I only use the 1, the 382. I don't even really use that much, so I can get rid of that as well. But I use the 1, the 0, the 0.618, and the 0.786. If you're wondering how to get this like menu up, all you do is you double click the Fibonacci and it will come up, right? It may be on something like this or this. All you do is click on style at the top, and then you can come to this, and then you can even change the levels, but I'd say don't mess with that. You can like turn off different levels if you want, add different levels. These are the ones that I use. I have a preset, so what I have is a full fib, and then I have a preset for only the 50% fib, and then I have another preset for an order block which has all three: the 0.1, the 0. The 0, the 1, and the 0.5. So I have loads of presets. To make a preset, all you do is you come here, you click save drawing as, and then you type it, you want it, you name it, whatever you want to name it, and then you save that preset. So that's how that works. But for now, we were using the full fib. So let me just go back to the full fib, and then it will show me my preset for the full fib. And every time that I place it, and say you want it to, so normally what will happen is if I place a fib, it will continue going. Like it's not only until where I place it. So I only placed it up till here, but it will continue going like till forever. The reason for that is if I double click it again, I've clicked extend right, extend lines to the right. That's the reason for that. If you don't click it, then it will just be until where you place it, which is where most people, how most people want it to be. But for me, I just like to have it, continue, just so I see when the market is reacting to certain areas of structure or not. So does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Someone else was asking, so gold, I'm still bearish on. Yep, I just need to get a nice entry. Emily, the 0.8806 is a decent reversal level. With the 78.6 is more common. Yeah, I don't really look at fibs like that. I just use it as more confidence. It's not too much of a big deal for me. But I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. But for me, I just don't use it much, so I don't really need to worry about it too much. Mohammed asks, do we enter on the OB if it left with the bearish momentum? So not quite sure what you mean. Do we enter on the OB if it left with the bearish momentum? Oh, on gold. Okay, let's take a look on gold. So you're talking about if the market didn't have any bearish momentum or had, I'm not quite sure what you mean. Do you want to unmute and let me know what you mean? Because I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. You mean this is, yeah, go on.
Yeah, basically, I was saying that it left with a lot of bearish momentum after it took liquidity, and it left an OB. Can we enter from there?
Say that again.
Basically, we left with a bearish momentum, and we left an OB after we took liquidity. Could we
exactly.
enter from there, re-entry?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. That's great. Everyone hear that? Basically, he said the market took out liquidity to the upside, took out these equal highs, then left with a lot of bearish momentum, came back, formed a little area of consolidation and indecision, which is a good sign, and then had even more bearish momentum. This is where you could potentially be looking to re-enter the market. So this is where I would be looking, and this is exactly where I'm going to start setting my alerts. Does that make sense to everyone? Does everyone see that this is a valid OB because we have an engulfing candle? You can all see that I broke structure, right? Therefore, this is an area that we could be looking to potentially see the market retrace up to and then sell off from. Does everyone see that? If you do see that, let me know in chat. If you have any other further questions, let me know. Someone has their camera on. Not quite sure if you want that to be on. If you want that to be on, great. If you don't, you maybe want to turn that off. But someone's camera is on. But I hope that makes sense, because this is basically the essence of re-entries from an OB, getting re-entries after that liquidity grab. So everyone can see we had equal highs, like perfect equal highs. You can see the market tested that level once, tested that level twice. The market then broke structure to the upside, right? And then taking out liquidity, allowing small money to open those sells. They open those sells, the market retraces a bit, the market forms more OBs and stuff. The market, smart money enters more sells, and then we're able to enter off that retracement up to that zone to mitigate all of those buys, to allow them to open the sells, and then we can get sell entries from there. So this is where I'm watching to see how the market is going to react, to see how if we can get any potential entries to take the market lower. I hope that makes sense. This call is going to run out in 2 minutes. This is just like a quick breakdown type of call. If anyone wants me to break down any other pairs, let me know quickly and I'll just go through that quickly for you. And I'll go through that. Let me look at Snap really quick, because I know that a couple of people sent through their charts. Okay. USD chaff. So people want me to go through USD chaff. Oh my god, loads and loads of pairs that I am having thrown at me now. So USD JPY, am I watching? I'll just go through these really quickly and give each one like 20 seconds. USD JPY looks to be coming into an OB on the 5-minute to sell. It's just broken structure out of equal highs. So you can see that it broke structure out of equal highs, and it's starting to sell off now. The market came into this. We called this a very long time ago. We called this a very, very long time ago, so that the market would come into an OB up there and sell off. And as you can see, the market did exactly that, started selling off. It is now retracing and now it's now coming to an OB here, right? Seller's OB, and has started selling off from there. What I'd say is get an entry on something like the 5-minute time frame. On the 5-minute time frame, to me, it looks like the market has come, formed an OB, come back to mitigate that OB, right? And then what we've had is the market come from another OB, market mitigate it perfectly, and is what I think is going to happen is it's going to sell nicely. It's going to sell off very nicely. We do have retail traders on our side, which is not necessarily a good thing. But you can see that there is an OB here, and the market could potentially sell off. I'll send the charts for all of the other pairs tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow. I'll send them out literally in 10 minutes. We have less than